really mine. That was mine. That was like the paperclip. You know the story of the paperclip? 182 years ago, a man discovered the paperclip. It was so simple. And everybody that looked at it say, why didn't I think of that? Ice was my idea.
It's funny to watch someone brag about a terrible idea, right? Remember shoes made out of banana peels? That was me. That was my thing.
The studio did not fall silent because Jimmy Kimmel delivered another punchline about Donald Trump. It fell silent because the joke came after a clip that was far more difficult to dismiss. Trump had spent the holiday firing off angry statements, targeting political opponents, ridiculing critics, and insisting that America had become a laughingstock. But when Kimmel looked directly into the camera and calmly remarked that the world was not laughing at America, it was laughing at Trump, atmosphere shifted. For a brief moment, the audience laughed. Then the weight of the comment settled in. The segment focused on a president who appeared unable to stop seeking attention, even as growing questions about his condition continued to circulate. Viewers were shown footage of Trump looking fatigued, moments where he seemed distracted during public appearances, and renewed discussion about bruising on his hand that the White House had struggled to explain convincingly. Kimmel never claimed to be a medical expert. He did not have to. Instead, he relied on the approach late-night hosts often use best.
Trump post, Robert Mueller just died. Good. I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people. Meaning him, I guess. It's like all of a sudden he's had the truth bottled up for so long, it bursts out of him. It's been so much time has elapsed since the last time he said something true. He erupts. He just comes out with a death wish, which is an important reminder because no matter how busy he is, President Trump will always carve out time to be a petty little bitch.
Presented the clips, paused, and allowed millions of viewers to reach their own conclusions. The question hanging in the air was simple. What exactly are we seeing here? That was the point where the mood in the room noticeably changed. For years, Trump had built political attacks around labeling others as weak, confused, sleepy, or unfit. Now, however, that same standard seemed to be turning back toward him. When someone builds an entire public identity around strength and dominance, every misstep carries greater significance. Every unexplained medical issue becomes more than a minor detail. Every unusual response begins to fit into a broader narrative. That was when Kimmel turned to the MRI discussion, and the laughter became noticeably more restrained. The exchange under scrutiny was straightforward. Trump had been asked what part of his body was being examined by the MRI. His response was that he did not know.
The DOJ, I think, should just say, we have other things to do, because that whole thing started out, other than Bill Clinton and, Bill Gates and lots of people there are a lot of questions about it, but nothing on me.
You know what? I'm going to take him at his word on this one. That's a wrap, folks. Donald says he's in the clear. I'm almost surprised he's not bragging about how much he's mentioned in the FC file, but I'm in there more than Abraham Lincoln.
Moments later, he quickly clarified that it was not related to his brain, adding that he had recently taken a cognitive test and passed it with flying colors. The audience reacted, but not in the way people respond to a typical joke. It felt more like a room processing an answer that created new questions instead of resolving existing ones. Kimmel leaned into that uncertainty without pretending to offer a medical diagnosis. Instead, the segment suggested that the public deserves transparency when the nation's highest office is involved. If the procedure was routine, explain it clearly. If the results were outstanding, release them openly. And if the White House wants speculation to end, then stop fueling it with confusing answers and incomplete explanations. After that, the conversation moved beyond comedy. The laughter had changed because many older Americans understand issues of age, health, and responsibility through personal experience. They recognize the signs when difficult conversations are being avoided. They know what it means when someone insists everything is fine while refusing to provide proof. They also understand that dignity does not come from dismissing questions as attacks. True dignity comes from being honest about them. The segment also highlighted one reason Kimmel continues to frustrate Trump so deeply. He does not simply throw out insults and move on. Instead, he replays the moment. He takes Trump's words, actions, and carefully crafted image and holds them in place long enough for people to examine them closely. Trump has weathered criticism before. He has survived outrage, controversy, and endless political battles. But being laughed at while the evidence is displayed on screen is a different challenge entirely. That kind of comedy does not chase a scandal. It forces the scandal to remain in the spotlight. Then the contrast became impossible to ignore. Trump had repeatedly criticized Kimmel, questioned his relevance, mocked his ratings, and even suggested he should be removed from television. Yet every response only made the contradiction more obvious. If Kimmel truly did not matter, why keep paying attention to him? If the jokes were insignificant, why respond to them late at night? If the ratings were supposedly terrible, why was the President of the United States treating a television host like a personal threat? For many viewers, that contradiction became the real story. A confident leader does not feel compelled to battle a comedian. A secure individual does not demand that a television host be silenced. And a president with nothing to prove does not spend hours reacting to jokes. While the public waits for answers about policy, health, international conflicts, and trust in government, Kimmel seemed to understand that Trump's reactions often revealed more than the jokes themselves ever could. The segment never needed to declare Trump medically unfit. It never had to reach that conclusion. Yet in the quiet moments that followed the laughter, many people appeared to recognize something important. Sometimes the most revealing question is the one a powerful figure refuses to answer directly.